Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about the match between Barcelona and Celta Vigo. Barcelona is going to be playing at the Camp Nou, and just to start things off on a great note, within this video, I want to announce to everybody here and remind everybody here that yes, Barcelona have already qualified for next year's Champions League, which in other words, the next season, the 2022-2023 season, we will be in the Champions League. Our goal now for the rest of this season and for the remainder of these 3 games, Barcelona should aim to be in second place. I do believe that if Barcelona continue to try and hold for second place, it's going to help them mentally, especially because if we finish this season, we're going to be looking back at this season and looking at how we ended up in second place and be like, okay, we have really improved. We went from 9th place and going all the way to second place. And the other point is going to be this, like, look at the point difference between Barcelona and Atletico Madrid and Sevilla. We finished within a 4 to 5 point gap difference between Sevilla and Atletico Madrid. Once this season does finish, if we continue to hold on to second place, these players are going to be looking at this in this way. And so there is so much that these players can analyze after the season is over. Again, assuming they do finish in second place, they're going to be looking at how much they have improved, and then they're going to be saying, okay, if we can do this, end up in second place within the season, what could we do when we actually start with Xavi Hernandez within the preseason? And one other very important thing when it comes to Barcelona holding on to that second place position within La Liga is going to be this. Finishing within this position would allow us to also compete for the Spanish Super Cup. Now, I know that this is not the biggest competition to play for because we still have to play for La Liga, the Champions League, the Copa del Rey, but it's still in the end a cup where Barcelona and these players can compete, where they can win, where they can believe that they have the capacity to achieve titles. Like, we're going to be facing Real Madrid because they are going to be first place within La Liga. We're going to be facing Real Betis for finishing and winning the Copa del Rey, and we're also going to be playing against Valencia, who were runners-up. And so Barcelona are going to be facing very tough oppositions within the Super Cup, and it is going to be helping these players a lot mentally. So going into this game against Celta Vigo, we must continue to put our best starting 11 and end very well. We look at the squad list here, and we can see that Jandro Orellana is actually within the squad list. The only reason why I believe he's in here is because Busquets is suspended. He will not participate in this game at all. And so when it comes to the other players like Gerard Piqué, Pedri, Sergio Roberto, Nico, they're also not going to be featuring within this squad list, mainly because of injury. So it is going to be very interesting to see how this team does adapt and how Xavi adapts this team without Sergio Busquets, because we know that Xavi uses Busquets 99.9% of the time. And I do believe that this is also a time for us to focus on how this Barcelona team overall should be adapting for the short term and the long term, because he has been a very irreplaceable player right next to Lionel Messi. As a matter of fact, Xavi Hernandez has also said during the press conference and addressed the central defensive midfield issue, and this is what he said: we don't have an exact profile like Busquets. There are positions that we do not have double. It is important to do a good planning for the future. So this is something that we are going to be leaning on through this video, because yes, we have been strengthening other positions like the right wing, the left wing, the striker position, the interiors, the defensive line, but we haven't really talked about the central defensive midfield position for the short term and the long term. And that is how I am going to be like basically separating this topic here. I am going to be talking about the short term, right? What Barcelona should be doing without Busquets tomorrow night, and what Barcelona should be doing without Busquets for the long term. Let's start with the short term, because I do think that our preferred midfield under Xavi, it is going to be Frenkie, Gavi, and Puig, right? This is enough technique within the midfield. It has a lot of mobility within the midfield. And if Xavi Hernandez does not want to basically rely on Ricky Puig, right, which is what he has shown through this season, maybe we could see someone like Dani Alves or Ferran Torres play as interiors right next to Gavi and Frenkie de Jong. So maybe we could have a midfield of Alves as the central defensive midfielder, Frenkie and Gavi as the interiors, or we could see Xavi use Frenkie as the central defensive midfielder and then having Gavi and Ferran Torres as the interiors. And again, this is assuming that Xavi does not end up using and wanting to use Ricky Puig. Now let's move on towards the long term without Busquets, because look, we have Jandro Orellana within the squad list. We do not talk about this player enough. This is a player that has shown a lot of promising talent. He is capable to be a lone pivot. He is able to understand how to switch play. And so I do think that he is a solution that we could see actually tomorrow night for the short term, and he's also a solution for the long term. Busquets' contract with Barcelona does end in the summer of 2023. And the fact that Xavi had to speak about this issue, about the central defensive midfield position, this also does show us that Kessie is not here to replace Busquets. Like, yes, he's going to be here to strengthen the squad, but he's not here to be the next replacement for this player. And this is a very serious topic, because we only have one more season with Sergio Busquets, and so we need someone that can be close to Busquets in terms of the level. I'm not necessarily trying to bring someone who's going to bring the exact same thing like Busquets has done for the past 10 years. That's almost impossible. Busquets is a special player. There is no way Barcelona is going to be able to find a replica or another clone of Busquets. What we could find though is someone very similar to his profile and very similar to his level, not necessarily again reaching his exact level on his prime. And those two players that I am thinking of, it is going to be Jandro Orellana and someone like Rodri from Manchester City, where his contract does end in the summer of 2024. Now, again, these are my preferred central defensive midfielders to replace Busquets. I do not think this club is thinking about these two players right now to replace Busquets in the long term, because when it does come to what we have been hearing about this position and how Barcelona want to navigate through this transfer window, we do have some updates, because it does say here, according to Ferran Correas, that Barcelona's intentions this summer is to sign a midfielder so that Busquets can give some rest in some games next season. The players that are within the minds of the club is going to be 3 total players. It is either going to be Zubimendi from Real Sociedad. I know I'm going to completely bottle the way I am going to be like saying this name, but I just do not know how to pronounce the name. But it does say here it is called Chouameni from Monaco, and then we also have Neves from Wolves. These are the 3 players that Barcelona are currently looking at. When it comes to Zubimendi, it does say here that Xavi and his coaching staff likes him the most among the 3 that has been mentioned. His contract does run until 2025 with a release clause though of 60 million euros. When it comes to Chouameni, it has also been said that he is a player that Barcelona do like, but they are not the only one. Teams like PSG, Liverpool are also keeping tabs on him, which is why the competition is there, and as well as his high price, which is one of the obstacles within this case. And then when it comes to Neves, it does say here that Barcelona have already inquired about his situation, and he has always been mentioned in the meetings between Barcelona and Jorge Mendes. The price is around 60 million euros at the very least, but the club's good relationship with Jorge Mendes could facilitate things much easier. And so I am a fan of someone like Neves from Wolves. He has also provided like 3 key passes against Chelsea 2 days ago, and so he is a great player. But when it comes to Zubimendi is someone that is Spanish. He is someone who is super young. I can get why this club does want this player, but we're not going to go into greater detail when it comes to these 3 players and how they can tactically fit this Barcelona squad. That is going to be for a whole other separate type of video, but it's good to know, right, that Barcelona are very active in terms of how they want to strengthen the central defensive midfield position. There is really no answer right now on who is going to be that definitive long-term replacement. There's only speculation, but as of now, yes, Barcelona are looking forward to someone like Zubimendi, who is someone who does play for Sociedad. Sociedad are fighting to play in the Europa League next season. They have been doing so well, and the heart of that success has been revolving around this central defensive midfielder that Barcelona is looking at. But now let's look at the possible starting 11 that we could see face up against Celta Vigo. So we do have here Ter Stegen in goal. Going into a 4-3-3 formation, I do expect to see Jordi Alba, Eric Garcia, Ronald Araujo, Dani Alves, our midfield being Frenkie, Puig, and Gavi, and our front 3 being Memphis, Ferran, and Dembele. Again, I'm just going to assume that Xavi is going to go with a midfield like this. I have no idea how Xavi does think about Ricky Puig and whether he should be starting with someone like Gavi. These are 2 very inexperienced players, but they do give a lot on the field. Let's see how they mold together tomorrow night. Hopefully we get to see a midfield like this. I would love to see it because it does give you some answers, right? Even with Frenkie de Jong, him playing as a central defensive midfielder, we want to see him being tested within that position because many have been dying what he can provide within a position like that. But that is going to be wrapping up today's Barcelona pre-match preview. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are new here, welcome to the channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys in the next video.